Hi Sayami, first of all, welcome to Vidnet 2022. So I would like to ask you, how was your experience here?
Hi, it's been great, So, first of all, I would like to thank IndianTelevision.com for having me here. So, I'm representing Kara here, and it gives us great pleasure to be here because, the subject itself, when we're talking about OTT, it's booming. We all have seen what the pandemic has done and how in these 2 years the trends have changed, the consumer preferences have changed. So, this is it. This has happened to stay, and as we move towards the more, I would say, the normal life, the new normal life, as we call it. This is something which we need to be watch out for, as marketeers, as advertisers, kind of getting a little bit tensed about whether the numbers are going to remain the same, or it's going to decline, or it's going to rise. So I think having an event like this where you have industry experts coming and talking about different aspects from the industry, it really helps. It gives us a perspective. So not only as a speaker but also as an audience, I am looking forward to attend all the session and
Wow.
take
That's
my
massive.
notes and go back with some rich insight. I would not name one person because there are many leaders who I have time and taken inspiration from. So for me, leadership is something, where it's inclusivity, where you actually take everyone along and you walk
Right.
gracefully. And of course, you achieve your vision as well as the collective vision of the people who are working with you. And so time and again, there have been many people. So I think right from Swami Vivekananda, I take high inspiration from him, to my current leader in Kara, Anita Kotwani. She is, inspiring us, and she's the one who actually inspired me to come here and present in front of all of you. So I think there are many such inspirations, and leadership is something, I call it a state. It's just not like,
That's rightly said.
you are, it's not like, you're the boss or you're the CEO and you become the leader. It's not like that. It comes from within, and a lot of inner work needs to be done to take people forward along with you. The industry we are in, when we're talking about media or marketing for that matter, people or consumer are at the center of everything we do, right?
Right.
And we in Kara, we have something called designing for new thinking, and where people is at the center. So as I'm saying, as a marketeer or as an advertiser, when you have to work on your strategies and bring in new ideas, it's the consumer who becomes the center. So that's also people, right?
Yes.
And the people who are working for you are also people. So
Absolutely.
that's the center of everything we do, right from the strategy we work in, from understanding your business challenges,
Right.
to the solution we craft in for you. Everything is keeping the consumer in mind and the people, to extract out the maximum potential from the people who are working from the team,
Right.
is what we look forward to. Leadership for me, or a leader for that matter, is someone who is just not fulfilling his own goals and vision. It's also about the people who believe in you.
Yes.
So the inclusivity and taking everyone together with you, and ensuring how your vision and the collective vision of the people working with for you are aligned together. So even when you're in an organization, the one thing which I really look forward to, there's an organizational vision, then as a leader you have your own vision, and the people will also have certain visions and goals, right?
Absolutely.
At their own, and how collectively everything comes together, and so that we're all able to move together as one team. And that's the role of a leader, I feel, and this is something which I
Absolutely.
definitely look forward. I think one of the biggest challenges this whole after the pandemic has hit the uncertainty. Things are changing, things are so dynamic. It's no more about long-term planning or short-term planning. Earlier we used to do this short-term versus long-term planning and all these things are gone now, because every day is a new day. There's so much uncertainty. So I think as a leader, the biggest challenge is how much are you prepared to kind of be able to face this uncertainty, which you are not even aware of what's going to happen
Absolutely.
tomorrow. So first to be prepared, and be in that dynamic zone, that whatever comes may, you are able to absorb it,
Right.
adopt to the new culture which you might have to bring in, and then move forward. First time leader, don't forget you are a leader because for the people who has chose you
Yes.
to be there.
They believe
So
in
yeah, so the people who believe in you, your team members, they are important. So yes, you're a leader, but at the end of the day, it's always for the people and by the
By
people.
the
Never forget that. Just be with the team and spend as much as time as possible with the team and try to understand what their pinpoints and what their life challenges.
Hello, sir. Firstly, a warm welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Thank you.
So, could you tell your experience, with your panelists?
First of all, thank you. Thanks Anil and thanks IndianTelevision.com for giving us this opportunity to come and spend this time. We honestly look forward for this session every year, and now I think it is happening physically almost after a couple of years. Two things. One is that you come and participate in a session like that. It is not only you hear, exchange your thoughts or engage your discussions with other panelists, and of course all credit to Anil. He will ensure that he will put a certain question or a topic that even the people are in a little sleepy mode, they will all wake up and start participating completely. So for me, it's as a session, it's a great way of engaging with our co-panelists, great way of basically unlearning and relearning a lot of the stuffs. And I would have loved to have these sessions more in the future, and we'll find a way to participate as a participant or a panelist in whatever form. Thank you.
So, could you narrate your experience? How was it with the panelists?
No, firstly, thank you, Anil Vanwari, for constantly putting up a debate that somewhere instigates us to speak exactly what we believe in. So, great times as always. Feels very different to come and sit across people after a long time to talk. Feels really great that you're dealing with human beings and not machines. People who can make a difference are the people who are sitting over here, and I really like the kind of panelists I had with me because they are really setting up new trends, and I feel it was quite exciting to have a conversation and just discuss what's the future, which we're all trying to figure out because we are not astrologers. So yeah. See, I have been why I like 83 is because my initial years of my life I was in Sony Max, and I was handling Kapil Dev very, very closely, and I've gone around the whole country doing gully cricket with Kapil. Since I am from Calcutta, that is an idea that I had then. So Kapil has been really inspiring for me. I've learned a lot from him because I've lived very closely with him. So I think what a legendary man, what a legendary vision. So I like people who inspire. I like people who believe in themselves, most importantly. So anybody who's inspiring, I'm not really only an individual, one person per se, but there are lots of people who inspire me for different things. And it's mostly achievers, or mostly people who don't believe in giving up. I think those are people, they inspire me. I've been quite blessed to be able to tell and do what I really like to. I think it's not a job work for me. It's not something that anybody forces me to do. So I love the fact that I'm blessed enough to be able to do and tell things and tell stories that I believe in, and live a life as strange as I do. So yeah, I think that is what excites me, because it's not job work for me. It's something that I really have been wanting to do this since my childhood. So it's like a great time. I really enjoy myself. That's why. Success is an outcome of your actions. You need to work very, very hard for it. You cannot rest on your past laurels. You can't have memories which are bigger than your future. You need to live in the present and think about doing things that make you work really, really hard, make you have sleepless nights, make you love something so much that you would go to any extent to get it to life. I think those are reasons why eventually success comes, because otherwise it seems quite difficult. When you get the whole industry together, that in itself is a great feat. And especially, great minds who actually who come in with you have people who are passionate, you have people who are business, people of all shapes and sizes who define this industry. So it's a great place for people to interact and share opinion with people who want to grow from here where they are and all of that. I feel that such get-togethers are somewhere a lot of things are connected to it. So a lot of things happen due to these get-togethers. I think that's also very important, that people like us, all of us should meet, and that's where things originates from. So all the best, Anil Vanwari and the whole team. Wish you guys the best. Keep making it bigger and better every year, which you guys are doing. So thanks again for inviting me. Thank you so much.
So, sir, could you tell your experience?
Yeah, it's a sense of nostalgia for me, getting back on ground and meeting Anil Vanwari and the team over here. It's a fantastic experience to to sit with the best of minds. I think Anil's always known to kind of spark debates straight from the heart, and that's very, very important when we meet and discuss. And I really looked forward to a lot of exchange of ideas, not just in my session, but also meet people beyond that over here. And there's a lot of unlearning and learning which we go through, and that's why we're here. Yeah, so couple of things which I take away from here. One thing is very important. Before I speak, I don't have to unmute myself, right? Because we're used to that world over here. And when you meet and do human interactions, you take away a lot of learnings in terms of not just what you're doing right now, but also network a lot over here with like-minded individuals to see how we can work together going forward. And I'm really looking forward to the next one as well. Well, my role model is Warren Buffett. So if you look at him, he has spelled success at a decent pace. Nothing comes quickly in life.
Right.
And when you go with the agenda of less is more, you are able to kind of concentrate on a few things, work hard on that, and achieve success. And that's what I learned. I think the biggest challenge today is we are surrounded with so many options. There are so many ideas, and we tend to work and experiment on that. The most important thing is what I have learned is if you follow the 80-20 rule, where you are able to follow 20% of the time, experiment and seeing what's work, but really need to go after the 80% and what you want to believe.
So can you tell me your experience? How was it at the panel discussion?
It's been fantastic as usual. I think it's always great to come for these industry events, because not only is it about being on the panel, but kind of views that come, because I think the overall panelists and the quality is so high. People who come here and then interact, provide their views. I think it's great for us to also learn about what's happening, because otherwise sometimes we get one tracked in what we're thinking. I think this is a great forum to kind of just try to look at different perspectives. I think we all agree that you will make a lot of different content, but we need to be focused on what the consumer wants also and gets consumed. So it's not about making one type of content or the other, but it's just about knowing your consumer better. And if you start dishing out that content, I think subscribers don't need to stop at 100 million or whatever. I think individual subscribers will have far more.
Wow, amazing. So I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So since you are a leader in your industry, so I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So can you name a person who has a tremendous impact on you as a leader? Like, who's your role model?
Cliche or not, but I haven't really, looked at something from a very single person perspective. I think a lot of leaders have very different qualities. And if what they do every once in a while is something that you need to look at, I think it's those qualities that matter more.
Right.
So it's different personalities, right, really throughout. I think it's been forever. There'll be challenges. What it means by a leader is basically being responsible and accountable for everything.
Absolutely.
So I think the challenge is to make sure that the ship is sailing in the right direction.
Right.
And safe. So I think these challenges will always be there of trying to manage the herd.
Firstly, a warm welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Thank
How
you.
was your experience moderating and being with all the?
It was fantastic, and I should say a lot better than moderating the online panels because there I'm probably talking to 4 people and not sure, and I'm never sure if there is anyone else listening. So yeah, this was a lot more interactive and fantastic. I think, honestly, OTT for me is an evolving space. But I'm glad that people are talking about it, right? If you personally ask me, I have a lot of thoughts on OTT. The narrative keeps changing every day.
Okay.
So I'm always curious to listen to what people say, and I think the best part was the people on the panel were from multiple industries. We got a proper perspective on what all the industries think. I mean, there was, and also people from the platform side, the agency side, even when you say the brand side, there was a traditional, there was more tech and the new age business. So I think that was great.
Amazing. Hello, sir. Firstly, a very warm welcome to Vidnet 2022. And how was your experience, sir, at the panel discussion?
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Pretty engaging and pretty interesting conversation. So yeah, a lot of fun. It's great to interact with peers from across the spectrum, right? And just understanding what's going on in their world and how they're looking at this whole space that we were talking about. So a lot of takeaways across. Depends. I mean, we spoke about it in the panel. It depends on where you are, what you want to do, and who you want to reach out to. Opportunity lies for every brand, yes, but then if it doesn't align with what goals you have for yourself and your brand, then it doesn't make sense. pretty much great place, especially after the pandemic, getting out, being in a place together with peers from across. A lot of fun. I thought the initiative was great. Thank you.
So could you narrate your experience at the panel discussion?
I think it was an interesting mix of speakers, right from agencies to brand owners to advertisers to OTT platform. So it kind of brought in a good mix of expertise and conversation points, and I think overall the discussion kind of stayed in the right direction the way it was supposed to be for the panel. And I think it's as an industry, it's ecosystem, it's critical for the subscription business to go up. So the dependence on advertising comes down.
Right.
And from a viewer perspective, it means a better experience overall. See, as an advertiser, I think any touch point is a good touch point to keep talking about your brand. Whether it comes in as an ad or whether it comes in form of a content interspaced into it, from that perspective, an objective for an advertiser is definitely met.
Right.
Is it good for the OTT business? I think yes, in a way, because end of the day, as a viewer, even you would want to know what's happening around you, what's coming up new and other things.
Right.
So, you know, that kind of gives you a bit of a perspective on what's coming around. This is not the first time that I've come for an Indian television summit. I think the initiatives are good. They're very topical and very contextual for that period. And I wish you guys all the best and success for all such events in future as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So firstly, आपका experience कैसा था Vidnet 2020 में? कुछ
Very interesting. I think non-remote event after a very long time. So after like probably 3 years. So it was a shocker in the beginning, but I think very well done. And what I loved was the quality of the speakers, right? So I got to learn a lot from all the people that were on the panel. So a lot of peer-to-peer learning. Just the quality of the speakers, and the audience seemed very interested because the quality of the questions was also. I think a couple of takeaways, and it's similar, which is the good thing is I realized that there is this tremendous fight between the traditional marketing and new age marketing, and therefore where does OTT fit in, where does OTT not fit in, the fight between TV versus OTT. The second is metrics. I think metrics and measurement is very, very important. And the third is this relationship between the agency, the media agency, the advertising agency, OTT, and the marketer. What is the relationship and how it's going to evolve?
Firstly, a very warm welcome
Thank
to
you.
our event. And how was your experience, sir?
It is always extremely, warm to come back to IndianTelevision.com because I remember this was the first platform, where I participated in a panel discussion some 4-5 years back.
Okay.
And Anil is always a special person, because of, whom I always say yes. I think more than a discussion, it was like a conversation. I always believe that, you need to, break away from the formal mold and really remain, very candid. I think that's what happened in this discussion, and which became a conversation. A lot of insights came from the agency perspective, the brand perspective, and as well as the very platform owner, in that, okay, what am I doing to you? So I think that's interesting. And more interesting is the fact that it's not, an individual responsibility. I think it's a very collaborative space that, we need to work out together as to how will you sail through. I think that's where the secret lies.
Can you tell me about your experience at Vidnet 2022? How did it go for you?
So this was my first Vidnet, and I thought it was a lovely experience. I think very well put together program. Love the quality of the panelists. I think it was a good representation of agencies, advertisers, platform owners, as well as I think the kind of attendees we had and their interest coming from the content creator fraternity. I think it was a very holistic gathering of people, and I think it bodes very well for the OTT industry because these are all the stakeholders you will need for the next big leap that has to happen. So I think it was a very well placed and well timed program. I think we went in with some idea on, the kind of conversation it would be. But what I found as it went along is that there are many schools of thought still when it comes to, what works on OTTs, how the business of OTT is going to function from an SVOD or an AVOD perspective. I think when it comes to AVOD, there is a lot more that both agencies and platform owners will need to do to convince advertisers because they are the ones sitting on the budgets. And I think very valid questions that a lot of the advertisers brought on the table. I think we'll have to reach a spot where, what the advertiser wants and what consumers are willing to pay for also come together. Because, more advertising will again take away from the beauty of OTT, which was about, me getting to watch and binge watch whatever I wanted to watch. So we don't want to make it another cluttered space. So I think lots more to be done. But yeah, I think the discussion threw up some good points.
Yes. How was your experience first?
I think Vidnet is one of the oldest platform which sort of brings the platforms, content aggregators, content producers, and the other attendees together. I've always had the highest respect for Vidnet, Indian Television, and Anil Vanwari, and I think today's experience was nevertheless the same. I think our chat session was largely around the award SWOT piece mostly and the consumer acquisition strat. And yeah, I think I picked up a couple of insights from the other platforms, and let's see how I can utilize them better.
Yes. Could you please tell me about your experience at the panel discussion? How did it go?
So first thing I want to just say thanks to Indian Television and to Vidnet for having organized a physical event first time in the last 2 years. It's been a pleasure and a real splendid change, welcome change to come back to the post-pandemic era of physical meetings and social meeting rather than social distancing. So that's one big win, and congratulations to Indian Television and Vidnet on that. I think it's always a pleasure coming here and meeting and talking to people, networking. You end up bumping into strangers who end up doing lots of business with us or sometimes become good friends. We do have great relationships with them. So all in all, it's a great feeling to be back in the real world and not on a Zoom session meeting people who are probably not even meeting people, just talking to 5 people on one screen and not knowing who's listening or who's not. But this is a really good experience back to the real world. Thank you so much.
How was your experience back there at the panel session?
Oh, fantabulous. I think, the panel session was fantastic. I think all of us were on a high as we are back on the ground and, back on the track. So we've zoomed out of the Zoom panels and, we are on our feet in terms of, with an engaging live audience, which sort of gives you, an adrenaline rush.
Wow.
And Vidnet, of course, has the most exciting lineup of from the veterans to the upcoming, executives from the M&E industry, and it's always a pleasure to sort of, come down and be a tiny little part of Vidnet. The topic itself of the panel discussion was very critical, right? As I mentioned on the top, that for us, the most important people when we are creating entertainment are our audiences. So, to get them to your platform, engage them and retain them is, an extremely tedious task, right? As, all my fellow, panelists said very well that, an audience is not platform loyal, they're content loyal, right? So it's not really about a specific platform. Someday someone has their, hat trick. The other day someone else has their century. The 4th day someone else is taking about, 1 run, right? So it's like a game of cricket where different teams are winning at different points of time.
Right. Hello, sir. Firstly, welcome to Vidnet 2022. How has your experience been at the panel back there?
Excellent, and massive congratulations to Anil Vanwari and the other team members at indiantelevision.com for yet another 6th edition, I think, of Vidnet. So massive congratulations. Well done. And this one is special because it's the first one after the pandemic. So as you guys say, getting back on track, it's lovely to get back on track. Well, the other panelists were from businesses that believed very heavily in SWOT. We believe heavily in AWOD plus SWOT. So it was nice to hear their business strategies. It was good to meet some people on the sidelines. So overall, a fruitful and enriching session.
How was your experience, at the panel back there?
I'm actually very happy that an event like this is happening in person. So I'm very happy about that.
Yes.
Been on a panel after about 2 years now. So virtually kiye hue obviously. So obviously it was fun. For me particularly because I was the only content creator studio sitting on an OTT centric panel.
Right.
मेरे लिए बहुत सीखने की बात थी, and my fellow panelists from all the OTT platforms that they were there from, काफ़ी चीज़ें सीखने मिली. It was insightful, it was nice. काफ़ी ज्ञान बांटने का मौका मिला. I don't know if मैंने ज्ञान बांटा या फैफ किया. That's for the audiences to decide. But मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया.
Welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I saw you up there in the panel. तो मुझे बताइए how was your experience?
I think the experience was pretty good because our panel was very diverse and very very intellectual.
Right.
So all these people, बहुत diverse group था.
हाँ.
सौम्य हो होइचोई से, या हो गुजराती से अभिषेक हो, फिल्म मेकर है. सौम्य इज द चीफ ऑपरेटिंग ऑफिसर, न्यूज़र टीम से दिलीप सर हैं, 30 ईयर का उनका एक्सपीरियंस है इन द न्यूज़ डोमेन. देन वी हैव योर टीवी से, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, फाल्गुनी वाज देयर, राइट, एंड लास्ट बट नॉट लीस्ट मिस्टर विभू अग्रवाल वाज देयर. सो इट वाज इंटरेस्टिंग. मुझे भी काफ़ी कुछ एनलाइटनमेंट हुआ जो मुझे पता नहीं था, मैंने भी जाना, एंड ओवरऑल पावर पैक्ड परफॉर्मेंस था, एंड आई जस्ट लव्ड इट.
Amazing.
So thank you, Vidnet 2022. We hope to see you again in 2023. I think, see how an event is conducted in a very organized manner, with not only beautiful people around, but also very organized.
Right.
It's everybody is punctual. So I thought that कि यार delay होगा, ये होगा, but ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं. And I think अनिल वनवारी सर को मैं काफ़ी टाइम से जानता हूँ, 3-4 साल से डिस्कशन होते रहते हैं उनके साथ. So वो भी सिंधी है, हम भी सिंधी हैं, and yeah, organized था काफ़ी, and it was pure fun.
Hi, firstly, welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so how was your experience at the panel discussion back there?
Oh, it was wonderful. Actually, this is our first time out there. We are just a 10-month-old OTT platform, and straight away we are on the panel and talking about our experience. So it was wonderful, and more than that, it was knowledge sharing that we gained a lot of knowledge from the giants like Hoi Choi. So looking forward to take our steps in the future and following their path. I think the biggest takeaway is that everyone believes a lot in the regional OTT platform, be from the OTT content side or from the audience's side, and that's the positive sign. And everyone's talking about regional OTT platform, so I think that's a great thing.
Hello sir, firstly welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Thank you very much.
Yes sir, so आपके एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में बताइए, पैनल डिस्कशन में कैसा रहा आपका एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत अच्छा रहा, बहुत बढ़िया था. मैंने तो फर्स्ट टाइम ये अटेंड किया है.
अच्छा.
और बड़ा मज़ा आया. पहले तो मुझे लग रहा था ये किस तरीके से होगा, तो ऑफ कोर्स मुझे मैम ने 1 घंटा पहले बैठा दिया था, सीख लो कैसे है. तो घबराहट भी थी. मेरे एप्पल वॉच ने भी दे दिया था, आपके हार्ट बीट्स इतनी बढ़ गई हैं. बट इट्स वेरी नाइस, बहुत अच्छा है. एक नॉलेज मिलती भी है और हम लोग देते भी हैं लोगों को काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें, और समझ में भी आता है कि व्हाट्स नेक्स्ट.
Right.
It's very great.
So how was your experience back there in the panel, if you could tell us?
It was a great experience, especially IndianTelevision.com and Vidnet. I think they have been great contributors to the industry's specific, communication, two-way communication with the industry and within the industry and stakeholders, which is a really wonderful thing. Not many were there when IndianTelevision.com started things. So I know it from the very beginning. So that's what it connects you with the entire ecosystem. So that way it was simply great.
Hello sir, firstly welcome to Vidnet 2022. It was a wonderful panel session out there. So how was your experience, with your panelists?
It was really good. Thank you for having invited me here, and this is a great forum for knowledge exchange, and it was good fun talking to my friend Sunil, and also to be answering some of the really important, interesting questions that came my way. So thank you for having me here, and all the best to Vidnet.
How was your experience, sir, with your panelists?
Oh, it was very enlightening, inspiring, and privileged to be with Gaurav Banerjee, to really know some backroom stories of how he operates and how the wonderful organization operates. And now I understand that, success is not a fluke, and they earn the success in the way that they work together. I think these are very important stimulus to response kind of, events, and it needs to be organized much more often for exchange of ideas and, new thoughts and sharing of, intersection of technology and audiovisual mediums. So it's necessary.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi Falguni, firstly welcome to Vidnet 2022.
Hi.
How was your experience back there with the panelists?
It was excellent. It was something different, and it was very motivating also and very encouraging. And there were a lot of insights which we have, I have heard about, hearing the panelists as well. I have attended the last Gaurav Banerjee sessions, and I have got a lot of insights about how an hotstar or a star works. Okay, and we always look forward to somebody who has been growing, and how have they grown.
Right.
So it was very inspiring to hear that story.
Wow, that's amazing.